Today we're going to demonstrate, starting from the very beginning, the 12-inch, 2-stick, 4-sided ojo de Dios. These sticks are marked every ½ inch. Every other one is a notch that is 1 inch apart, and these notches keep the yarn from slipping in towards the middle, as well as making marking points for progress along the stick. I'm missing a mark there, but we'll get by without it. The other marks are just done with a gel pen. Gel pens write very good on wood. Highly recommend it over a regular ballpoint pen. Okay. We have the sticks made so when they're put together, all the lines and notches show on the top. When we start, I like to start with the topmost stick as my starting point. I tend to have knots all the way down this stick by the time I'm through, because I start on that stick over and over again. Right across the middle of that stick, diagonally across, and over to the right-hand stick. This is the first part of a diamond we're going to create diamond eye in the middle that we're going to spiral out from as we go. Around there, turn and rotate. Wrap around the stick now that's off to the right. Turn and rotate. Yarn's holding it together somewhat, enough that we can change our hand position. Around that stick off to the right. Now we're getting back to the beginning again. Keep rotating so that we have that topmost stick facing away from us, and the stick to the right hand that we're going to be wrapping around is off to our right. This tail is something we're going to wrap around now, going twice around, and get that tail around to the back, out of the way. Now we can see a little diamond pattern there emerging, and we're going to add on to that. Twice around is critical at this point. If you want your lines to be straight, you want the lines to be evenly spaced, not bunched up, and we want other things to look for, keeping these sticks 90-degree angles as much as possible, and that where the yarn crosses over the last bit of yarn that's crossing and making a V, that V cross is right along the top of these sticks. Do that, everything is going to be nice and even. If we see a gap between the lines that we don't like, we want the lines of yarn to be right next to each other, do a little thumbnail pushing adjustment. Okay, round and around. Somehow that tail is on the front. Shove it around to the back. Now our diamond is emerging more and more as the rows of yarn get added on. We're up to our ½ inch mark. Back to our beginning. That tail marks the beginning. It looks nice and even. Symmetrical. We want it symmetrical at all times. On and on we go, twice around. Twirling the sticks is so much easier than this. This is awkward. You can do it if you want, but I highly recommend twirling the sticks. I'm constantly shoving in on the back here. Why? Because if I don't, that wrap around the stick is going to get ahead of our last part of the diamond pattern, and we don't want that showing. That's not a pattern we want in our ojo. We want the diamond, what's on top of the stick. So I'm constantly, just as I'm holding this as I go to the next one, I'm shoving in a little bit on the back, maybe even pulling out a bit on the front, but at least holding the front. And that wrap goes straight across, not bowing out like this, straight across the stick. That's how we want it. Not that people look at the back, but when we got it like that, makes the front pattern come to the end without the back sticking out beyond it. Okay, back to the beginning. We're going to add on the next color. Cut this off an inch or so, maybe a little longer than an inch. Put that color aside. Next color. I'm using this dark teal. I keep the yarn off to my right. If you're left-handed, you'll keep it off to your left. If you're left-handed, you're also going to be going clockwise around the yoho. We're going counterclockwise. We just cross the sticks, cross the yarns right on top of the stick or slightly off to the right. But that tail we want around in the back. But it's going to get pulled around in the back as we let go of it and twist the yarn about 3 times. Wrap around. Some of it comes unwrapped. That's all right. Hey, if we still got 1 wrap around, I generally have 2, we're good. We wrapped over the tail with the second time around. On we go. Very simple to put the next color on. No knots, and if something goes wrong, we change our mind about something, very easy to unwind. No knots to untie, just pulls right apart. As we go on the back, just like we're adding on to each row of yarn in the front, we're adding on in the back. We don't want to overlap. We want to add on, but we want to shove it up a little bit. And twice around. It's very intuitive to go once around. That's why I repeat over and over again. Twice around, twice around. The yarns are, rows of yarn are straight. If you're on this diamond pattern, if you go twice around. Now, if you're on an 8-sided, 12-sided, oblique angle, not much of an angle, you'll go once around. If we have a really sharp angle, like we're going to do next, the arrow pattern, you make adjustments sometimes, going 3 times around. But this, if we want to make an adjustment, we're going to adjust, like if this is getting closer to the notch than this is, or if that diamond doesn't look perfect, then at the longer point, we're going to bring it in by wrapping once around. Okay, next color.